Next up, it's Gaming Moment of the Year, which is one of the ones that every year when I look at the list of nominees, the pedigree in this category is unfucking believable. And it makes me almost intimidated to get into it because it's like we need to make sure we hit a certain standard here.
Yeah.
But I back us. I think we can do it, guys.
This is my favourite of the previous winners. This is my favourite list.
Yeah.
That was a great list.
I don't think there is, like, I think everybody has in every category one that they, like, I mean, best character, I guess we haven't done it long enough for everybody to have a regret.
Yep.
But like every other category, there's one where I think all of us just go,
Yeah.
but Gaming Moment of the Year.
Bobby, fucking bitch.
So
That's because Barry doesn't have a soul, okay? There's no emotion in him. It's lights and clockwork.
I'm not a Lies of P character. Come on now.
Okay, so for Gaming Moment of the Year, our previous winners, 2015, The Hospital, Metal Gear Solid 5. Remember Metal Gear Solid 5? That genuinely feels like it was 20 years ago.
Do you know what? If I was going to play that game again, I might just play the hospital section and then just stop.
Yeah, especially like once you get to Outer Heaven and they fucked it, like with the
I might
online
piss about
stuff.
on the horse for a while because the horse was cool.
The game was so fucking good. Sorry.
It could have been amazing.
Right. It was if you played it quick enough before they patched it.
Exactly,
Yeah. Anyway, 2016 E1M1 Doom. 2017. You want to talk about levels that I wish I could just go back and play? Mesquite, Texas. Wolfenstein 2.
Really
the new
want to replay
Colossus.
that game. I really want to replay that game.
You want to talk about a sequence that just shit me up? Like Mesquite is so good. 2018, The Blades of Chaos, God of War, which I think was the most like goosebumps moment in a game of great moments. 2019, title sequence Ape Out, which still holds up. I had young people in work play Ape Out for the first time a couple of weeks ago, and they were like, "What's it about?" And I was like, "Just take the controller." And they were like, "What the fuck?" Within a couple of seconds.
You're an ape. You're out. You just smush everyone into
Vindication.
blood.
2020, Bobby, Paper Mario.
Rest in peace.
I wonder, was it just, were you getting stir crazy, Barry? Was it you were feeling generous? We were all locked down that you wanted to give
let
them
these little fucking weebs have their little cute Mario RPG moment, you know.
2021, Dartmoor, Knives Out from Hitman 3.
That's what I'm fucking talking about, son.
And number 2022, or from 2022, Starscourge Radahn, Elden Ring.
Still haven't beaten him. I am legitimately still not beating him.
Even I fucking beat him, Barry.
What's funny is like
I need to go back to that
since we did Game of the Year last year, I've beaten every boss in the game and platinumed it. And
going off
in a game of unbelievable moments and boss battles, like there might be some that get close to the level of Radahn, but in terms of spectacle, I don't think there's anything like Radahn.
I watch people completing it just like with my eyes like wide.
There's nothing like it's such a, you know, those Dark Souls games moments where like something happens that feels so unfair, but you just start roaring laughing at it. The moment that fucking comet hits you for the first time, you're like, what the fuck is this?
That like purple light effect spear things just hammering.
It's like, oh, he's on this horse and now he does gravity magic. It's amazing. Nominees for this year: the final chapter of Mortal Kombat 1, the Ghost Shark in Dredge, Howard, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, The Lightning Temple Quest, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Piranha Plant Musical, Super Mario Wonder, Portals, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, The Rocquefort Boss Fight, Hi-Fi Rush, surprise, it's the Yiga clan from The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and We Sing, Alan Wake 2. Starting us off in this category, we've two left on the list, Jack or Barry. What will the wheel choose? We shall find out.
Hell yeah.
Barry, my good friend.
It's me. There's one on here I really want to talk about in the process of cutting. I have very mixed feelings on it. And it is the final chapter from Mortal Kombat 1. Mortal Kombat 1 was a real... Man, this is class. I feel like I'm going to fight for this for the game of the year until all of a sudden it wasn't.
Yeah.
And I think the story embodies that. Not that it was on this level or this level of good. The first half of the story in Mortal Kombat 1 was some real Game of Thrones ass like political intrigue, but with like Mortal Kombat characters. And you're like, They also rebooted their universe at the end of the last game, so it's like fresh takes on characters and like real fresh takes, like genuinely interesting reorganizations of the universe. And then halfway through the story, it turns into, multiverses, and here comes 3 different scorpions, and all the multiverse characters are coming together to stop the bad guys shooting a laser into the sky because it'll destroy everything, the universe. And in my best like red letter media voice, it was like, oh
yeah. I think the final.
Remember when this game was interesting 2 hours ago, and
I think we both nominated this. That's how it ended up on here, and like I think it's interesting because if you dropped me into Mortal Kombat 1 at that final chapter, I'd be like, hell yeah, this shit rocks. And I think the thing that maybe takes it down and takes it off here as a genuine contender for high up the list is the fact that it followed something that built up to be like you said, it's like I went into this and I buy like every couple of Mortal Kombats. I still love the doof ass story that's in these games. Totally, and I still follow them even in the ones I don't buy. Fighting games are ones that are like, they're just a genre of game I rarely get into in a significant way. Like I'm not a big Tekken guy. I'm not a big Street Fighter guy. Mortal Kombat was always the one that if I'm gonna dip in, I dip in there. I did the Injustice games as well. But this is building up to be like, this is some fucking great shit. And like we said, you were talking about the nominees on stream recently, and I was in the chat talking about how like that palace intrigue is so good.
It's so good.
It's still, even when they're doing the kind of like dramatic shit, like there's still some like Mortal Kombat dumbness to it. Like again, I talked about like the scene that takes place in a secret lab, but then a door opens and it's a passage to a secret lab under the secret lab. It's like, what the fuck is this? But anyway, I go back to, because this is moment of the year, not story of the year. It's because of what preceded it that kind of deflates it a little bit. I think in a lockbox, like in a black box where you don't have any context, you're dropped in. That's a really cool fucking sequence.
So for someone who hasn't played it, the way the second half of the game plays out, it's basically speed running through the story of the PS2 era of games, your Deadly Alliance, your Deception, and
everyone's favorite Mortal Kombat.
Everyone's favorite era that we all love. And so for Deception, which ends on that basically all the characters are fighting up a pyramid, which is the beginning of MK9, if anyone remembers, like the beginning of this reboot trilogy, that whole thing. And so the way this works is it's actually got some fun multiverse stuff where you are fighting up this pyramid and a bunch of remixed MK characters are coming at you. What's really interesting is it seems like every player gets a different like seed depending on which character you pick, because I've spoken to people who got different remixed characters. So you're getting gender swapped characters. You're getting female Sub-Zero. I got one that was Scorpion mixed with Kung Lao, and you're fighting him and his health bar says Stung Lao, which is such a stupid pun, but it's also charming.
It's perfect.
So it's like all stuff like that. I'm fighting Raiden, but he shoots ice attacks like Sub-Zero, and the character model is designed, really intricately designed with that in mind.
It's not just like...
It's not just it's not like old
it's
MK
where swap.
Exactly, which would have been the case 30 years ago for MK, where they would have just put blue filter on Raiden.
It's not like
and I thought there was already a female Sub-Zero anyway.
There actually is. There is Frost.
There's not like it doesn't come out looking like all those dumbass mashup t-shirts everyone was wearing 10 or 12 years ago.
They put real work into those characters, and so actually I figured out what the difference maker is. So you can pick your own character to do the final fight of the story, which is a nice touch. So I picked Melina, and I think that affects your seed of what remixed characters you get. You get these remixed characters and you fight them, and it is super fun. But as Dave said, that is both cool, but also it represents everything I disliked about the second half of that. Second half of that story is the most generic Mortal Kombat thing, which is just multiverse dudes show up and we got to stop the bad dudes from ending all of the universe or whatever the fuck it is. Like, I don't even really remember. It's
you get like to a certain point and you feel like the people who are on the story on the game were just like, yeah, that'll do.
Yeah,
we got it most of the way there. It's like, you know, the way, like somebody who got to the like maybe halfway down their road and went, I think I could just get out of the car now and it'll land in the driveway.
And it's so frustrating that they reset everything. And so the beginning of this game is real, like not quite street level because there's still palace intrigue, but there's like palace intrigue. It's like the whole universe is at stake, and that's super interesting. The best way I could explain it to someone who didn't play the game, you know how at the end of the last Spider-Man movie, they do all their multiverse shit, but then at the end of it, they reset all that.
Yep.
And so the Tom Holland character is back to just being Spider-Man. He's got a police radio scanner, and that's what he does. Imagine if at the beginning of the next film they go, okay, we're going back to multiverse space shit happening now. It's like, well, no, you just reset the story. You just got away from all that.
Yeah,
that's Mortal Kombat 1.
It's like they reset it to break
go
it again.
right back to where it is, because like Mortal Kombat 11 ends with you're fighting the Time God, and it's the biggest scale it can possibly be.
Preposterous.
Yeah, and then so you're like, okay, for MK1 we're resetting it. I'm like, okay, I'm in. And then the end of the game is like, okay, the universe is all on fire, and this is going to destroy time and space if you don't win. I'm like, okay, I just did that.
The problem with Mortal Kombat is it has comic book syndrome where there's no actual finality to anything, so nothing actually matters.
Yes, absolutely.
I believe there are finalities. $10 a pop.
And the weird thing is, in the post-credit scene, because everything has to have one of those, is a bunch of remixed characters come out and they basically tease the sequel, saying, we're going to fight the heroes in the next game. It's like, but I just killed a bunch of remixed characters. Like, you blew that cool. It's a cool moment. That's why I did nominate. The moment is cool, but then your hook for the next game is just, we're going to do more of that.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Mortal Kombat 2.
Now, that said, I am jumping back in to play as Omni-Man and Homelander.
The DLC is good.
The
characters are good. You know, they nail that stuff.
Yeah, and like that's the game feel and stuff like that. Is that, but I think it can go.
It can go.
Dave, I just want to point out, we only have 9 nominations on here, and I'm fairly confident there were 3 Tears of the Kingdom, and the Master Sword was on here. But there's only 9 nominations on there.
Oh, maybe I just didn't copy one across.
I think that's what it is.
Is it in the poll? Should be in the poll.
I presume, but I presume it's just the Master Sword quest. I'm pretty sure there was 3.
Master Sword is there.
That was the
Master
one
Sword is there.
Yeah.
So I just didn't copy it over, but it is there. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Good spot.
Thank you.
Damn. So it's...
Yeah. Great, just as I'm in the middle of typing. Right. Okay. Bum. Right. Okay. Now, I don't think there's anywhere I can go that's not going to be like hitting off somebody, but I gotta go. Right. Okay. There's a couple of moments from one game that I take one of my own. I might take one of my own. That's what I'll do. The Lightning Temple is a really good distillation of what I want Tears of the Kingdom to be and what it is at its best. Where the game brings you on this big, elaborate spectacle of an adventure.
Yeah.
Where at various points, it shows you the scale of this thing, the size of this world, everything it can do. And then you progress a bit and it boils it down to a very simple Zelda adventure. The familiar thing you've been playing since you were a child. And it's extremely evocative of everything that brought you to the dance with Zelda while showing you everything that the new shit can do. And I love that about it. The reason I picked this one is because I think there's a moment from Zelda that it's probably my number 2 of the 3, right? And I think the moment that isn't my number 1 is felt stronger by other people.
Yeah.
So I don't want to do that dirty to them. And I absolutely don't want to take off my favorite thing about Zelda. So I think like the diplomatic thing to do is I really wanted Lightning Temple to get here, to get to the dance. We got it here. You know? And I think it does deserve that. And I think like of the temples, I don't think any temple is outright bad.
The Fire Temple is bad. I hate the Fire Temple.
I didn't hate the Fire Temple.
I only did the Water Temple and I was like bored as fuck.
I think that game has 2 good temples and the other 2...
See, I felt more that way about like the Divine Beast in the last one.
I really like the Divine Beasts.
I think I like one of the Divine Beasts.
Divine Beasts are so boring. Let's not do 2017 again.
But yeah, I think like I really like and that was like because it was I think that was my first one where I was just like, oh, here we fucking go.
Yep.
Whereas like I was enjoying some stuff, but it wasn't fully. There's so much in that game that I wasn't grabbing a foothold on anything. You know what I mean? That like I'm enjoying this, but I keep going in different places and I'm not focusing on any one thing long enough to progress on anything. So the Lightning Quest is the first time I'm kind of like bottlenecked into, right, no, you're doing this till it's done, you know? And that's like, you have that moment and then it's like, we're off to the races now. Yeah. So that's what I'm gonna volunteer unless somebody feels really strongly.
I love that. I love the Lightning Temple. I think it's really cool. I think it's...
I think all the Zelda ones were 3 nomination boys.
Well, this is the best Zelda temple since like Ocarina, as far as I'm concerned, in terms of how great it was.
Just say nope.
I said, wow.
I was like, oh, sorry, Zelda expert.
I've only played Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
That's a statement, but that's
but all right. You feel free to name other ones, but that's not what this category's about. But that's my personal opinion.
Yeah, that's right. And I can also
4
say
a.m.
Yeah. All right. Oh, I'm just gonna assume.
Yeah, but give your bit because I think it is going. But no,
it's going. It's fine. I thought this was just incredible. I think like the puzzles in it are really, really good. I love the light beams thing and the way that you can use that and moving around the different levels, and it really encourages exploration and figuring things out. And it's done in a way that isn't handing it to you on a plate, but it's also something you don't have to Google to figure it out as well, which I think is really good.
It kind of reminded, like in that we evoked the Divine Beast there a minute ago. It's like, oh, they finally figured out what they were trying to do.
Yeah,
with the Divine Beasts.
I love the like weird spooky creatures that exist in the sands when you're trying to move through the sands to light up the beacons, and the whole. There's
also a couple of layers of where you think it's over.
Yeah. And it isn't, and it's all very, very good. It's fair enough. There's a couple of moments from Zelda on here. There's one I probably would argue for more than the others, just because I enjoyed it more. But it's really just really good fucking video games, man. Like, man. There's nothing more like video game section than this, and it is everything that I enjoy, which is playing a game, solving some puzzles, and feeling a sense of accomplishment when I unlock something. So it's perfect for that.
Yeah. It's like like I said, kind of like it's a distillation of that game, and it brings you right back into that like adventure puzzle reward cycle of the old games, which is such a, like, it hits on a bunch of different receptors. It's very enjoyable. Okay, so Lightning Temple is gone.
Yeah, this category is a bit tough for me this year because none of my picks made it.
I was going to say, this is a very Mark category.
You had a real, like, Mark went this way, he went that way here. Like, I think that, like, if we had all played all the same games, this list would look
not entirely
different.
True, because like one of my picks was the Titan fight from Final Fantasy, which when I talk about like the whole Platinum Games thing, I think that's really, really come through. But like the biggest omission for me is Ghost Runner, because basically you do an F-Zero GX style bike section down the side of a 3-mile tower and is the sickest fucking thing. But anyway, so I really have no horse in this race.
Two of the things on the list you nominated.
I did. I did nominate some things, but they're like 9th or 10th for me. Yeah, you know.
All right.
So I'd probably say I'd say the Piranha Plant musical comes off because I think there's a better section of that.
No, he's so right. He's so right.
Also, I think there's a part where you don't want to give Barry the pleasure of doing it.
But there's a better section later on with King Boo, who does like a fucking operatic sort of section.
Listeners, I tried to cut this from even getting nominated.
Can I just say, like, if we could charge an extra like £5 to release like the tape of the group chat when Barry came into the clearing and was just like very. Now, in fairness,
let me tell you about a game called Rayman Legends from 10 fucking years ago that did this exact thing, but Barry didn't come in.
Barry didn't come in all guns blazing. He just went, "All right, lads, can we cut the Piranha Plant?"
I was like, because
you were trying to be nice, but you were like, I'm sure you enjoyed it. And then when we were so like,
for a little beyond the mat, behind the curtain here, we obviously, like, sometimes we have a list of nominations between us where we all have our passion of like 30 things.
This was the hardest one.
So we have to whittle down to these nominations, and it's a combination, as Dave said in the intro, of things that got multiple nominations and passion projects. And so we're whittling down, and Dave wants these like Zelda moments, and I want this moment, and the lads want this moment. And so I was looking at it and I was going, they'll all agree with me because I'm like, lads, this cutesy fucking Mario song is actually not that great compared to these incredible quests in one of the most acclaimed Zelda games of all time, the incredible viral moment of Alan Wake, and like you crucify me for suggesting that the Piranha. I was like, it's very cute. That's all it is. It's nothing special. It's you run in a straight line. They sing a little song that's not that catchy, like most of the music in that fucking game that is so over fucking rated. Spoiler for tomorrow, right? I'm gonna go there right now. Okay, like it's not that.
Just like
great.
the noise you just made.
Like,
by
it's
the way.
not that great. Get it out of there.
Like,
I smirked. I smirked and I went, yeah.
Can I say
Did
as well-
Mario Wonder pass the Kermode 6 laughs test for you?
And can I say, like, I think the biggest omission from this, and I guess it's technically not a moment from a game.
Ghost Runner again.
No.
Do you know what?
Go back.
What we
Go
need
back.
is more nominations.
Go back and remember the first time on your Twitter feed you saw the little fucking plant thing that had been crucified, and you saw that on your timeline.
Korok crucifixion. Absolutely. Yeah.
And again, another like, if only you could see the group chat. We're now arguing Zelda should have had more moments.
Yeah, exactly.
There was nearly blue murder.
But also,
that we
like,
got 3 on the list.
But also, shades of Wolfenstein 2. You could swap that Mario moment for like 10 Spider-Man moments. Good Men. The mission Good Men is not in here. The mission where you're fighting Kraven and Kraven fucking stabs Spider-Man and he gets the symbiote. That's not on here because the plant meme song is on here. Get fucked. Oh my god.
I was really hoping this would be like a 30-second bit and we'd move on.
No. The second you said the words, I knew Barry was going on it. I knew he was going on it.
It's now or never. You have to.
Look, listen, okay, Barry, as a counter to that, Titanic promo.
Oh, hold on. I thought you were going to say, as a counter to that, the Titanic.
The fucking sinking of the Titanic.
It's like, where the fuck is he going with this?
There was enough room on that door for 2 people, right? They could have saved fucking both of them.
He's dead right and he should say it.
Yeah, fuck that.
Much like the Titanic, taking this off is a great tragedy of our time.
Right, so like what Barry said, like I've now got 6 Spider-Man moments I want to talk about.
What have you done?
No, look, listen, Barry, I get it, okay? You see it as a silly, cutesy joy, or whatever, but I get that. But, okay.
Will we just go?
One of the things that I love about video games generally is
singing plants.
No, but it's the escapism, and it's not always something that it's like, oh, it has to be this, epic song. Anderson is murdering herself in the past and in the future, and she's shooting guns through
What do you think the game is about? Sam Anderson shooting herself in the past.
herself.
Oh, she is Alan, but Alan is her.
Saga Anderson is Chrono Bullet.
He's writing it on a typewriter. It's so dark and edgy. Look, it doesn't have to always be.
But in moment of the year.
Yeah, listen, but here's the thing about moment of the year, right? You need a bit of mirth in here. You need a bit of something fun.
Can I say,
yeeting Koroks.
Can I say, gentlemen, this is my moment of the year.
But that is fun.
It is fun, but it's not winning.
No, I don't think it wins. I'm happy to let it go. But
Are you?
No, yeah, I am. But
let me say, in agreement to what you're saying about how there should be mirth and stuff, there's like other Mario Wonder moments I'd put over the song. Like I don't quite like.
Well, it's because it happens so early on.
I guess,
it's like 2 levels in, and you've got like fucking piranha plants.
I would say, like,
out
in terms of triggering that sensation, when you play the level where the water is coming from the roof rather than the floor, that made me like smile and feel a sense of when a Mario game really inspires that video game joy in you. That moment way more than the song.
Barry's just sitting here going, you want that? Watch Little Shop of Horrors, you prick.
But why I picked the piranha plant is, there are great moments further in, and Mark's dead right about the poo fucking thing as well, by the way. but this sets the tone for all of those moments. Sure. When you start playing Mario
it's the indicator that this ain't your daddy's Mario game.
Exactly. But when we first saw the trailers and stuff, and you got the Elephant Mario and all the silly things, it's the first time you're on an Elephant Mario and you can't quite fit in a pipe, and you're sort of squidging yourself down, little things like that. But to me, this was the first moment in this game where I was like, oh, okay, this feels like it's going to be something different. It feels like it's not taking itself seriously. It feels like it's going to subvert all my expectations of what a Mario 2D platformer are going to be, and it does go on and do all that. And for me, this is a catalyst, and that's why I voted for it.
I think that's fair.
Okay, right? I think that's fair. That's why. And I just thought, this is the first moment of distilled joy in a game that carries you through so many of those fun bits and pieces. Yeah. So many fun bits. I know Mark's contention of it doesn't revisit things and stuff, but I like that. And
I kind of like that as well.
To me, my biggest frustration with that, because my moment of this game would be the level that you play as a Goomba, and I so wish
that or there's I love where you take the Wonder Seed and all of a sudden Mario is a top-down game.
Yeah.
And it's so fundamentally wrecked my brain because I can't play Mario as a top-down thing. Because my brain literally cannot accept it as a top-down thing.
But in
fucking
a way,
Hotline Miami ass shit.
but in a way, that this moment to me is the genesis for all of those moments, and it represents represents everything. Because you couldn't not put a Mario Wonder moment on there, and I guess if it's the wrong one for Barry, that makes sense. But I think this is just fun, and it makes me happy, and it sets the tone for a great game, and it was a great game, unexpectedly maybe to me. I didn't expect to enjoy Mario Wonder as much as I did, so happy to let it go.
Okay.
But I don't want to be whipping it on the back
kicking it up the hole out the door,
making it carry a big stone up the hill.
Get out of here.
I just like to remind everybody, you did this.
No regrets.
The last 4 hours of what just happened there.
No regrets at all.
Okay, so it's now up to Jack.
All right, I mean, we all like watching twitch.tv/Barry Lads. We love it, the moments, the what's, the too bad, we love that shit, Barry.
Love that.
Do you know that guy?
Oh, I've heard of him.
Yeah. He's great. Check him out.
We love it. And one of the moments left on this list, I loved watching it via you. It was very, very funny. And it's the ghost shark in Dredge, but also that, as funny as that is, and as cool as it is, that's kind of like a constant persistent threat throughout the game, I don't think it's going to win moment.
No, it's not. I was actually hoping I could easily cut that myself.
I also think we're the Dredge guys here.
Yeah, we're the Dredge guys.
I think Dredge is really cool.
One thing I liked about it, one thing that Dredge does really well, lots of games have done the sanity effect thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like their big failing is that they have 4. And when they start to repeat on themselves, the novelty of the sanity effect starts to wear off.
Yeah.
I never saw that shark again. That's why it's so fucking cool. It's
you
I
were
got attacked by a ghost shark randomly. And then I never saw that.
You never saw it again, but you were
But every single time my character's sanity started to drain, I was like, oh, fuck.
But that's
ironically, it haunted you for the rest of the game.
That's the kind of perfect example or form of showing what horror can be, about what you don't see, what it doesn't show you, what it's constantly in your mind about, at some point this fucker's going to show up again, but it doesn't, I mean, and I think Dredge is perfect for that.
And it is in terms of stay out of the ocean as well.
In a very literal sense, it's the one thing that is literally just a moment and then it's gone. Do you know what I mean? But I would say
we can cut that, but Dredge is such a weird, cool thing.
There was a while where, because what people maybe don't remember, once Tears of the Kingdom started coming out, the year started going. But, Quarter 1 was real fucking quiet for a while. Yeah. And I was looking at going, is Dredge going to be, in my top 3 for the year?
I feel like it may sneak in. And, second half of the year was too stacked for it. But on a quieter year, I feel like Dredge might have done some damage,
Yeah.
But respect to Dredge.
Yeah, and I generally, if no one has seen that, please do go to Barry's Twitch or his YouTube and watch it. It's very, very funny.
Because I was really close to docking in one of the safe zones.
Yeah, you were just
I think I was reading the chat and
you were
shit my pants.
You were idling, reading out some message, and then it happened. And you were like, "What the fuck?"
What were you saying about Alan Wake's scariest game of the year?
Well, I mean, Dredge, as someone who fucking hates the sea and big.
You should see the fucking ghost shark in the lake in Alan Wake.
The ghost shark was right in itself, and it fucking died.
To go back and kill itself in the past.
Shot itself in the past.
Shot itself through and then Laura fucking, I don't know. Anyway, let's move on.
Okay, Barry, you're next.
Oh god. Okay. Okay. I kind of fought to get this on here, but I don't think it's not my passion project, so I don't see it winning. The Rocquefort boss fight in Hi-Fi Rush is really cool. He's a big mech wolf. You're fighting in a big vault full of gold coins. It's really funny, but kind of like how we nominate a character. We actually just had this for Hi-Fi Rush. You nominate a character, but really it's kind of like an ensemble. I think all the boss fights are really cool in Hi-Fi Rush. I was torn between this and the Corsica one. The Corsica one being the entirely parry-based boss. Super cool. This one,
I think you didn't like that.
I didn't think you would like that one. This one is a bit more visually insane because the robot wolf is such a cool design and the vault is so cool.
Agree.
I didn't think the best moment from Hi-Fi Rush was any of the bosses, though.
Which one was it?
The bit where you have the Invaders Must Die bit playing and you've just got fucking waves of enemies.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And we'll get to that in terms of the licensed music and whatnot. But the whole of Chapter 11 where you've got... So there's a song called Whirring by Joy Formidable, which is one of my favourite songs from that period of time. And it does... And we were talking, I think, before we started recording, or even maybe when we was doing it, about SSX3 and that kind of layering of the track and how it builds up over time. And the sound direction of Hi-Fi Rush is as exceptional as SX3 was.
And if I can cut in, Mark, it feels like you picked the soundtrack for this game.
Yeah. No, it is. If I had an iPod from 2011 and it was mine, you'd be like, it is that game. Hi-Fi Rush has a bunch of great moments.
There was a fucking swan song in this game, for God's sake.
All right, but I'd be in agreement. I don't think it would.
It's super cool. Hi-Fi Rush is got a lot of moments.
Style of this thing, man.
I think I had 3. I think because I had that fight, I had the Corsica fight, and I think I had the segment where you play as Cinnamon. Were all great moments for me. But amongst these heavy hitters, I don't think the Rocquefort fight holds, unfortunately. So farewell.
So that's me next. Look,
well, I know what he isn't cutting.
You don't make friends very easily in Game of the Year. And I suppose I'm gonna hear just everybody because of the 2 moments from this game that remain, there's one I feel much stronger about. I'd lean towards cutting Howard.
Oh man!
Over Portals.
Oh man!
No,
because only one can win, and I think I love Portals a bit more.
Look.
I'm willing to. I'm not so neither are my number one. So if everybody says Portals goes first, then Portals goes first. But what I'm basically saying is, let's have the discussion Howard versus Portals, because I am this is the next cut is one of these 2 for me.
I think it's kind of like a great spot fest versus a story with a lot of heart is really
by the way, we kind of mentioned it earlier, and it was one of the things kind of thrown in the direction of Miles was almost a bit of not like a weakness, but he'd been in previous games and you were like, we've kind of dealt with that and stuff. The fact that this was a concluding arc of a character who'd been in the 2 previous games, who started off with a quest that absolutely irritated the pants off of everybody. Yeah. Nobody liked it. And then they fully did a babyface turn on Howard by the end of the thing. I mean, it's just, there's it's a beautiful poetry in motion moment of a man and his love for his pigeons. Now, if you haven't played the game, that probably sounds really stupid, but you meet Howard in the first game as Peter in one of the silly side quests. You have to try and get his pigeons back. It's very clear that he's alone. It's very clear that he did have someone at some stage. That person has gone from his life, and all he has left are these pigeons that he trains. So it's a really annoying mission, but you kind of like Howard. And then in the second game, they kind of get him over as a bit more of a baby face with Miles, and he develops a really great relationship with Miles. But, you start out and you meet Howard for this quest, and he's sitting there and he's kind of looking out, into the ocean, into the Atlantic Ocean. And all of his kind of pigeons are kind of around him. And he sort of sit there and he's like, it doesn't matter if you're Peter or Miles. I think you can actually play
do it as either,
As either. And he's just like, look, I'm going to level with you. I'm going on a journey. I'm going away somewhere. and I need to find a new spot for my pigeons. And kind of whoever it is kind of gets intuition and twigs like, is something wrong with Howard? Something's not right. And you play out this wonderful scene between either Peter and Miles and Howard, and just sits there and listens to him, lets us tell his stories about New York in the past and kind of his life and what's led him up to this point. And Howard's like very sincerely like, okay, can you find somewhere for my pigeons and stay in? Yeah, fine. So you swing through New York, as you so excellently do in most of this game. You find a great spot and you go back, and they're kind of like loading Howard into an ambulance, and it's like his last moments were just there, just looking out over the water, after he'd had this conversation, and after he just sort of relived all of the things that kind of made him happy. And he was happiest knowing that, the only thing that he kind of had left for him in the world, they were going to be free and home and safe somewhere else. And it's just a beautiful moment. Like, it really is. It's one of the things that I love about Spider-Man, this game. Like, in amongst some of the stuff that Dave might refer to as chuffer, are these like real nuggets of gold, like really brilliant, just emotionally positive moments. And it's one of the things that, there are a lot of comic book characters are big bluster. And if I look at the Portals thing on here, it's one of those moments where fucking shit's happening. It's like, you're going through portals into different things, and it's like Black Cat's stolen one of Doctor Strange's like this totem thing that can make portals, and it kicks ass. You're flying through the things and you finish the mission off, and then she's like, fuck this, I'm out of here, so she doesn't get hunted down by Kraven and uses the portal. And then you get the excellent IOU note at the end from I can't remember if it's I think
it's Wong.
It's from Wong rather than Doctor Strange, and it's really cool. But it's it's a traditional sort of comic book moment. But one of the best things, and I know that an appeal to specifically, I guess, Dave as well, as a fan of Spider-Man, is that in amongst those moments and always at the heart of the character, even when you listen to Stan Lee talk about Spider-Man, is that yes, he's a superhero, but he's also kind of like a nerdy teenager who's trying to experience his way through the world, and is a deeply caring person in a lot of cases, and is always standing up for the little guy because he is the little guy. And Spider-Man has that every man and any man quality about him. And when he's not doing these big fucking skyscraping ridiculous battles, there's moments in Spider-Man of these like brevity and these soulful things, and like the New York City in Spider-Man lives and breathes, and you feel it. And this moment just really got me. Like, it shouldn't have. It's silly, like in a way, like it's a man and his pigeons, but it just.
But there's a real serenity to when you're swinging to the destination and the pigeons are all around you, and they've got that great song in the background that is so lovely. And I mean, it's like you were saying, at the core of the Spider-Man character, it is the caring about the man on the street. I mean, it's such a great character, and this is the type of thing you would read about in a real classic Spider-Man story. Do you know what I mean?
To that end, Portals then?
Well, I was going to say,
happily call it Portals.
Because my issue with the Howard bit is I was confused about. No. But what I'm serious, I was confused about what I was actually meant to feel, because I couldn't tell whether this was like the whole kind of bit about like releasing the pigeons and making them free. That bit I got, but then I got back and I was like, okay, so what happened here? Like, did he just die of natural causes? Did he kill himself? Like, what?
I think he knew he was going to die.
It was inferred. Like, he is.
But the problem is because there's the video game aspect of it. Because the time in-game time between you getting the pigeons to wherever you need to get to get them back. That's such a small amount of time for someone to die of like natural causes there and then that I was like,
but it's real.
I just sort of was like, did he just like drown himself?
No.
I get you. There's an element in my head. I'm just like, I just figure going, I need to see this motherfucker die.
But I think Mark wants like a top corner feed of Howard slowly keeling over.
If there's a criticism of this game, and I think it is totally fair, is that some of it I think is super endearing. I think some of the good old New York stuff is extremely saccharine and extremely on the nose, which I like for the most part. And I think it's kind of like he's talking about his wife who he had a partner and she moved on, and it is proper kind of like I've had a complicated long life and I'm kind of dying of a broken heart almost, and it's kind of like, once I know, like, it's one of those things that you can't really apply that logic to. He's kind of like, I know I'm on the cusp of death anyway, I'm 70 whatever, I'm a homeless man. Once I know my birds are at peace, I will go on, I will shuffle off my mortal coil. And it's one of those things, it is one of those sort of things where I think it's okay to say it doesn't really matter whether he actually killed himself or he peacefully had a sort of magically induced heart attack knowing that his birds were peace. It's kind of like
hit by an ice cream truck, anything.
That's not really the critical kind of thing. It's more kind of, he was on his life was over anyway. All he had left was the sanctity of his birds. Do you know what I mean?
And on the flip side, can I just say, portals are fucking sick. All right.
Portals are sick, and it's cool when you do a finisher on a guy and she pops out of a portal and drop kicks a guy mid-air that you've launched. That is sick as fuck.
Yep.
But this game, the game is also full of sick as fuck moments and
really good.
For me, I think maybe I'm looking at it from the like making
cold and
it.
Heartless point of view.
No. I'm from the making it and like the technical aspect of putting that whole thing together.
Yeah,
and it working as seamlessly and smoothly as it does. And like at no time, and it kind of goes to Spider-Man as a whole, because there are so many moving parts to that game, but at no point when I play it do I ever feel overwhelmed by like there's too much in it to kind of like grasp. And that portal section as a whole, like you're dealing with the fact that it's but also it doesn't feel like it's this kind of on rails, like you're just playing a roller coaster. Like it finds that perfect balancing act of like you feel like you're in control, but it doesn't throw too much at you that you just have no idea what the fuck to do. And I think that portal section is so perfectly directed about finding the balancing act between those two in terms of the spectacle, but you still feel like you're doing all of these kind of sick as fuck moves.
Yep.
I love that portal section.
And do you know what? There's probably like 4 other sequences in this game that are similar to that as well.
So, portal's gone.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, just because I the other two, and I know I'm going to get pushed back, but at least we'll get the conversation rolling, because one I don't care about, and that'll be the We Sing section.
No.
So
It's not going.
I'm still talking about it because I'm not picking the other two.
So the thing, there's not a lot of like first half of Alan Wake has its share of levity, and then the kind of entire second half is extremely heavy. This is just like primo, like pure injected into the vein remedy weirdness. And I mean, the funny thing is, like, so they put out that music video on YouTube and they released it to the general public, and it kind of blew up, I think, a little bit beyond even people who played it. But like, you're so not getting all of it if you just watch that video, because when you're playing you're playing through it, you're walking through it, and it's like you're surrounded by like Titantrons.
So you're like
Sam Lake
you're in the middle of it. So what keeps happening is like you're again, this is right at the point where the world opens up and you can choose to proceed with Saga or switch to Alan, right? And it's the first time you switch back to Alan will be this chapter. And all the chapters are subtitled Initiation 1, Initiation 2, Initiation 3 to this point. I think this is Initiation 4. So it's the 4th time you visited Alan in the game. And everything, like you said, to this point, on both sides has been this. There is some dark wit. Sam Lake is a very silly person in the outside world. But everything, particularly with Alan so far, has been like dark and murky and harrowing. And there's this, he's noticing, I don't want to get too back into the thing about the narrative and the meta narratives going on, but he keeps noticing himself getting stuck in loops, and he's trying to find this clicker device anyway, and he keeps finding, this is the second time he finds himself back in a dressing room at this kind of late night style Conan O'Brien show where it's like, what's the name of it's like between the doors with Warland Door.
Mr. Door.
Mr. Door, and the character is Warland Door, who I will bet my house on is a substantial figure in whatever DLC they do. But that's a whole other thing. And what happens is they've done a couple of really like harrowing, dark, weird scenes where like you look at the TV and you hold down like the X button or whatever, and you kind of like you go into the TV and all of a sudden you're on the couch having these really weird, very reminiscent of Immortality.
It's very Immortality.
The late night, remember the late night talk scenes and that it's just like something is fucking off here.
I watched this whole thing.
Yeah,
right? and it is very cool.
Alan is coming in and out of being aware that he's just ended up on a talk show and that he's still in the dark place, and then also Mr. Door will say something, and then he'll just start answering the question. You know, he's slipping in and out of awareness.
He's on this Fallon from hell.
Yeah.
And
because it's a deliberately bad,
it's a really
stilted
shit
It looked like the talk show from the Joker movie.
That's a great comp. And they're asking him about this book that he's unsure of, and it'll eventually turn out that like his evil doppelganger wrote it. And he's like, I didn't write this book, and this what should be the most easy, digestible content in the world, the shitty late night content. It slowly is turning into this. No, I didn't write this thing. You're talking about Sam Lake is there sometimes, and like one of the instances where they don't use James McCaffrey's voice actor, so it's just Sam Lake with his normal accent going, yes, I plays Alex Casey in some movie.
Yeah. But like you come back for this wee thing, and it's this exact same structure as the last one. I think it's only one time you do the late night thing before that, so it's the exact same structure, and you think it's a loop and it's going to play out exactly the same. So what you're doing is, because it's the first time you can switch between him and Saga, you're seeing the save point now at the room. So you might be like, and I've seen a bunch of people play this, and everyone does the same thing where they're not paying attention to the TV. They're looking around the room to see what's different this time. And so if you're not paying attention, there's a bit where Mr. Door is wrapping up the show. And Alan Wake, like this is FMV on the TV, and it's Mr. Door, Alan Wake, and Sam Lake, right, are standing there, and he's doing his wrap up for like the next segment or whatever the fuck he's doing. And all the while, like fucking Sam Lake is doing this weird fucking he's dancing away, and like he just the first time I did it, I was doing the wandering around, and I just heard him. Did he say something about musical? And it's like he goes, we like to call the next segment The Life of Alan Wake the Musical, and you're just like, no. And you do the thing where then the X button prompt comes up on the screen, and you're just like, okay, that was just one of these, like, because there are loads of moments in like Control where like you get a brief 20-second clip of like Casper Darling, who is going gradually insane throughout the game, and there's something really funny happens, and then you just move on. It goes back to the real tense atmosphere of Control. You press the X button, and all of a sudden this game that has been pant-shittingly scary for several hours up to this point erupts into a bombastic 80s hair metal music video.
Heavy metal musical.
I mean, but it's like a Queen, like Bohemian Rhapsody style epic where it's like 15 minutes long, and like halfway through it's like the actor who, like, so they've got the old guards of Asgard, the old gods of Asgard, the band who play the actual song, but then
who are also characters in the game
as well. But like halfway through,
and we're the guys who did the song from the Ashtray Maze in Control.
But like halfway through this sequence, you like climb down a ladder and you enter in a new sequence, and you think you're done with the musical, and then a big screen in this come out, and it's the Alan Wake actor doing like a spoken word verse from the song, and it's just like
it starts off like it's all black, and then like lights start flashing, and this like Tron drops, and you see like the giant face of Warland Door, who's being a 100% serious character at this point, and he just starts singing, and you're like, what the fuck is this? And like then it changes to like you see Alan like singing a verse back, and then they do this thing where like it really is cool how it navigates you through, where like the screens will split and you'll see like Warland Door up a set of stairs like on another Tron, and he's like dancing away, grooving along, right? And if you wait long enough, like you'll notice that the bars start to repeat themselves. If you try to do the deliberate, like a Vinnie Caravella tried to break the game and stand there too long and see what happens, like you'll see at a certain point like where they might be grooving along to the song, like the members of the band start going like, go this way, and like every time like you think, okay, right, that's cool, I see what they're doing there, it like gets bigger and more ostentatious and funnier.
Some of the soloing is insane.
And it
like
fakes you.
They put the game version of the song on Spotify. It is 14 minutes long because the amount of solos. They've got the Alan Wake voice actor doing a verse.
So ridiculous.
They've got fucking like, you'll go to the point and like they'll go to the point where like a WrestleMania entrance, they got one big video screen here and it's Sam Lake going to and then it's Alan Wake doing the same thing on the other side.
This is the thing as well, as like, so for the first bit, like I said, there's those big Trons of the guys are slightly grooving along or they're playing their instruments and stuff like that, but by the time you get to it, fakes you out twice thinking it's over and that you've seen the bit, and then it just pulls you back in, and it's that kind of, you know, like the Mike Myers theory of comedy, like you do it once, it's not it's funny, you do it twice, it's not funny, by the third time it's even funnier than it was the first time. So it does that bit, but like by the time you get to the final movement of Herald of Darkness, which is a fucking great song, by the way, like it descends into a fully choreographed FMV dance sequence involving Sam Lake, Alan Wake, Warland Door, and like various enemies of the game.
That's the other thing as well, is that it could have very easily been you watch a bunch of wacky FMVs and that's the joke.
Yeah, it could have just been a cutscene.
But also, like, for most of it, you are also fighting enemies. So you've got, like, the old gods of Asgard absolutely wailing on the electric guitar, and they load you the fuck up with ammo in that section, more than they do for the entire rest of the game. So you're just blasting enemies away.
Yeah, it's shredding guitar while you're doing the perfect, because it's where you get the flare gun as well, which is like the most overpowered weapon in the game.
Yeah, it is phenomenal. It's pure Remedy. It is straight raw and Remedy heroin into the vein.
It's also the kind of unbelievable moment that nothing can do but a video game. You know what I mean? Like, Howard's great, right? And I'm not gonna
you could do that sequence in a movie.
You could do it in a movie. You could do it in a TV show. You could do it. We literally compared it to you could do it in a comic book.
You could do this in a movie.
No,
because you have to be physically playing through it to get it on the, like, you can enjoy it at these different levels of non-interactivity.
Could you like climb down a ladder and think, oh, that's the end of that section, and then you're walking through, you're like, okay, I wonder what's going to be, and then another big screen comes down and it's Sam Lake still doing his thing.
And like, because you have the context of, I have spent the last 4 hours on the verge of a coronary.
Yeah,
because everything I do, every time I think, okay, that's over, I'm fucked again. Do you know what I mean? Like, in that way, that only immersing myself by physically having to do this. You're also blown away by, like, the other thing you can't do in a less interactive medium is you can't do the thing, like I said, where you try to game break and see what happens by standing around. Because a movie or a TV show will pull you along at the pace it desires, where it's like, the game is just like, fuck it, stay there.
These solos will go. But also, you do your weird Alan. Only Alan has this mechanic, not Saga, where you're doing the stealing the light from some locations and passing it to. So you're fighting these puzzle solving.
By the way, they give the clicker to you like you're accepting an Academy Award.
Yes, yeah, like it's extremely gamey. It's extremely gamey. I think this is my moment of the year.
Yeah.
So, like, Mark, you tried to cut this.
Yeah.
You and I'm with you, but
I will die for this.
I feel like you have to sacrifice something to appease the gods of Mark here.
I would again, like, obviously, because I put it before. I would put Howard before it. I would put Master Sword before it. I would probably even be tempted to put Yiga Clan before it, even though
those are yours.
Yiga Clan would be my number 2. I would put anything else on this list before we sing.
Wow, okay.
Anything else. And I do want to talk about, like, the stuff we have, like, if we cut something that we haven't talked about yet, I do want to talk about them all because they're all brilliant. But there's nothing that gave me the visceral and sustained, and like I rushed immediately to go see other people play this moment because I'm just like, I can't wait to see it. And I immediately went into multiple group chats that we're all in and going, don't fucking look up spoilers for this game, mute everything.
Yeah, and
until
I was so
you
glad
play
I did. Because all you said to me was, when you get the ability to switch back to Alan and do his thing first. And I did. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. So, Mark.
Take another pop.
I mean, it's either Howard then or I abstain.
No, you can't have 2 Zelda winners, though. Surely you have a Zelda preference.
No, because I like both of them for very different reasons.
Okay, so imagine it's between the 2 of them and we're arguing about which one wins.
But that's not what we're arguing about.
Well, hypothetically, we could be. So what would you cut?
If Howard gets cut, then yeah, because it sounds like these 2, I mean, as predicted, we're going to be big on this moment, right?
If it'll move I stand by my way, and eventually you're going to have to pick between the Zelda things, but I will, because it seems like we're on the same page where we would both take Alan over Howard.
Yeah, I would.
If we want to say goodbye to Howard, I would say goodbye to Howard.
I'm also like, I feel so, and it's not just because, like, I do love Alan Wake 2 and stuff like that, and I'm not trying to be difficult or anything like that, and I was very, like, I feel so strongly not at
you
the
love
same
the Zelda
level.
moments as
I
well.
love the Zelda moments as well, but I feel so strongly about We Sing, even if it was up against about half the things that have won this in previous years. Yeah,
looking at this, yeah.
And I'm not just saying, I'm not trying to do another fuck Bobby like he was doing. I respect the hell out of Bobby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I respect the hell out of that.
That's a great moment.
Yeah. Especially because, like, I didn't know a lot about Bobby at the time. Went back and looked it up after the fact, and I was like, yeah, fair dues.
Bobby, I didn't know your game.
Yeah, I didn't know your game. But that's how, like,
look, if it's going to be one of the 2 moments, I don't know, like, because the Master Sword quest is like such a kind of peak video game style type of moment in terms of like the spectacle of it, what you do, the lead up to it, and like the hey, you're pulling a dragon out of a fucking pulling a sword out of a dragon.
It's one of those really cool things where it's like a lot of the questions we asked ourselves before Tears of the Kingdom came out was like, how are they going to top Breath of the Wild? And the Master Sword quest is real fucking cool in Breath of the Wild, and like, oh, how are you going to drop it? How are you going to top that? Oh, you're going to pull a sword out of a fucking dragon's head.
It's like
not a skull, a head. The dragon's still alive.
But then there's also the context, because as much as like story in Zelda games is whatever, I do think that kind of bit of the arc there about like Zelda's sacrifice in terms of like, keeping this sword strong, basically.
Yeah.
And that whole part of it is like probably the most compelling thing they've done since Midna in Twilight Princess.
Maybe,
I'd say.
Yeah.
So you have all of that, but then on the flip side of it, you have the Yiga clan.
Oh god damn it, it's so
and
good.
It's the dumbest fucking thing, but it's the best dumbest fucking thing.
It's so video games. And this we were talking about. I think it was you didn't.
I was looking for. I was. What's the case for it?
The Yiga clan in Breath of the Wild, right, are mildly annoying.
Yeah.
Right? Because it happens so often, like, and it's not scripted, like, they're just random encounters, right?
Yeah.
And it's these fucking nerds, like, because they're shit, and they're not challenging, they're just annoying, right?
It's kind of like a group of nerdy adults made a
it's like
ninja
jumping
cult.
into an enemy on Route 2 of like fucking whatever Pokemon game.
There is no video game this year that exhibits the mantra of don't back doon, double doon more than, oh, you were annoyed by that. We are going to make the Yiga clan your favorite thing in Tears of the Kingdom. So like, not only in Tears of the Kingdom do the Yiga clan become a very important antagonist for like progress in certain areas. Like, you've repeated elaborate, preposterous battles against the Yiga clan that are some of the most, in terms of encouraging you to do the new things this game wants you to do and mess with the new mechanics. The Yiga clan are so important to that. But the thing we're specifically talking about isn't any of that.
The surprise attacks.
So what they've done is, the surprise attacks, like we said in the last one, were completely random. But what they've done is heavily script the dumbest fucking things in the entire world. So there's two we want to zoom in on, right?
Yep.
Basically, the bit that we're talking about is that they will lead you down the garden path of thinking you're doing something significant or something important or something interesting or something new. And it's always the fucking Yiga clan.
Yeah.
It happens so many times, and I guarantee there's another half dozen times it happens that I haven't seen in the game yet, So the two we want to talk about in particular are the chicken.
Yep.
So you meet a chicken.
This chicken is granted, like, there's a small town, right, or like a little villagey bit, and the chicken is granting miracles. Like, they are all going to this chicken because it can talk. So it's like a talking
see the future
chicken.
As well, Gambit.
And it's like a deity, and it is like
worship the fucking chicken. And it's just a fucking chicken on a hill.
And here's the thing, right? When I met this chicken, I had already encountered the Yiga clan and a few of these annoying things, and I didn't see this coming.
No, I never saw it coming. Never, because especially the other thing about this is, like, they bait you in for so long where you're like, even if you're thinking they've done me before, it's like, right, it's not them. It's not them this time. And again, it's fucking them.
It's fully like Arrested Development, Gene Parmesan. Gene, like, he got me again.
Yeah, because it's like you meet the chicken and it's like, they're just like, you need to get me wood.
Yeah.
Like, what? It's fucking weird.
And then you go on fetch quests for this, like, deity chicken.
Three separate, like, you have to, like, get like, you use your powers to get very large and heavy items.
A ridiculous amount of logs.
Slog getting them up the hill, and it's like, right at the end, I'll grant you your wishes.
Yep.
And then right at the end, it does a big speech.
Yep.
And then at the end it's like, prepare for your demise. Yiga clan.
And the Yiga clan are there.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. I really hope the other one that Dave was going to mention is
Zelda.
Yeah, you're like, there's a person that's in trouble, in peril, in a hell, and you go to this, like, hill because you have to climb all the way up this massive hill, and it's Zelda in a cage. And the whole point of the game is you don't know where Zelda is. You go to the castle, and you're like, how am I going gonna save the Princess fucking Zelda, and there she is in a cage, and you're like, oh my god!
Do you think you actually entered the end game? And it's like, oh my god, I beat the game.
Yeah. Or like something's gonna happen, like you're gonna go there and like Ganon is gonna come down. It's like, 'cause you can see it's gonna be a bait and switch, but your brain doesn't think immediately. This is the Yiga
you don't,
clan.
because you're like, they wouldn't do this.
Yeah, exactly.
They wouldn't make you think you'd finish the game.
Yeah.
Surely.
Like something's well, it felt like it might be a moment in the game where you find Zelda and it leads to like a side boss or something. But it's just a geek-ass Yiga clan again.
The Yiga jabronis.
It wouldn't be. I think it would be at least 20% less funny if they were in any way challenging.
Yeah, they're not.
They're fucking
you just dispatch them.
dweebs.
Yeah.
Like, you could have the most basic ass first 5 hours of the game weapons that fall apart after like 4 or 5 hits.
And still beat them.
You're still getting rid of the Yiga clan. Pretty sure. It's just that then you start thinking about it, they are putting in so much effort to surprise attack you.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's fucking Team Rocket is what it is.
It's the exact thing.
But there's no also just that you've got like the whole thing in the depths as well when you have like the Yiga Clan boss.
Oh, that quest
and
line
you
rules.
have like the whole like fucking, you know, the boss fights you have with him where he's got these dumb fucking medical
contraptions.
The leader of the Yiga clan is such a geek that he thinks the way that he can beat Link is like an increasingly more ridiculous amount of contraptions.
Fucking Rube Goldberg machines.
Wallace and Gromit ass shit that's doing things that don't really matter. And then right at the end he gets a cool ass robot, and that's when you can use your fucking robot against it, and it's just
But it's also like he's so infuriated with you at the end, but keeps accidentally repeatedly giving away his next location. He's so annoyed.
And again, some of the things I love in the Yiga clan is that some of the moments are obvious. Like because they love bananas for some reason. These these red suit wearing ninjas love bananas, and you just see like some bananas. Like there's a tree on one side, a tree on the other side. There's bananas, and you're like, oh right, okay then.
But it also sucks it because then there's other times you just find bananas in the game and it's just bananas.
Yeah, it's just bananas.
They do such a good job of it. You think you always know when it's going to happen, but you don't.
But like one of the Yiga clan members, when you get caught by the bananas trap, is even like, I told you this was going to work to the other one.
Like, you fucking idiots.
I have to think and hope that when they were making this game, like, you know, as they were kind of splitting the teams up and whatnot, they just went, right, you two, Yiga clan.
Don't tell us. Don't tell us.
Fucking just go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh man, I just love that. I just love geeks in video games. We talked about it with the B1 droids earlier, Barry. But the Yiga clan are like an even better
supreme
version.
geeks.
I think I would take Yiga clan over the Master Sword quest.
Yes, we get rid of Master Swords.
Sick, and the Master Sword quest.
You pull the sword out of the head of a fucking light dragon. It's so cool.
The only thing that would have made it better is if the dragon turned into the Yiga clan. And the sword was a bunch of bananas.
Now you're talking.
In which case, it would win every game.
This is just like, if I didn't play a single other second of the game of the year.
You pull the sword out and then the sword turns into a Yiga person. You're holding it.
You pull him out and it's literally just a hilt and a Yiga clan member. And it's that little musical singing like...
And then one comes out of the mouth of Dragon and said, I told you this would work.
Fucking good.
Oh boy.
I got load me the goddamn.
All right. It seems like based so we're down to Howard, the Yiga clan, and Wee Sing. Dave, I think you and I were the high men on Howard. I think we're both Alan Wake guys.
No, it was you guys were Howard.
Oh, sorry, we were on the Howard.
Totally, these are 3 very different moments. You have like a deeply,
Tell me more.
a deeply emotional moment. You have like one of the most bombastic moments in video games this year, and the fucking geek ass Yiga clan. But yeah, they're still in the conversation. Oh man,
there's 2 I'm very happy with winning here, and Howard is the 3rd one.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be
like you kind of you made me think a bit more fondly on it, like talking about it, but I like. It's so weird because of the tonal shift between this and the other 2. But I don't think it hangs as moment.
I could see Howard go, because at the end of the day, we're down to the final 3, and I would be on Alan Wake on this one. So
I kind of fought for it to go kind of later, just because I think it like had emotional resonance.
Yeah, totally.
Oh no, 100%.
But I do love these other 2 moments, and if it's like kind of consensus, I'm happy to just duke it out. and again, like I can read this and probably predict which of these two moments, and maybe it is just a usting one of these, loving these. But hey, we'll see how it plays out. So, I guess.
Is it voting time?
I guess it is.
I think so. I feel like I tell you what, the poll. I guarantee you that I feel like the listener poll is going to be heavy on Spider-Man moments.
Yeah.
I'd be my prediction for this.
I would also be interested in that. I think more people will have played Zelda voting in our poll,
Then
but
Alan Wake, absolutely,
but the Alan Wake people will be passionate.
Yeah.
So I'm interested because Alan Wake might benefit here from only having one moment on the list, whereas if we had left Howard on in the vote, and now that we have Tears of the Kingdom, it could have split the vote.
Yeah,
very interesting to me.
2 for Zelda, 2 for Alan Wake. Is that the way we're going here? That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Are we going to have one this year that we actually decide? Because it's 3 draws in a row.
These fuckers should have played Alan Wake. Is my point.
Barry, I would have hated every single second of that game.
I don't think.
Okay, he should have played Alan Wake.
I watched a lot of it. The gameplay didn't draw me in.
Okay.
And I like and the second word in video games is games. So
I did watch that Alan Wake section, and I had a visceral anger while watching. It's just
what? I mean,
this is just not for me,
dude.
It's just not for me.
Dude, I watched that section, and even I have to admit that kind of did kick.
Come on now! Oh my god!
I can't hold.
What's with these Remedy disrespecters? You got me doing this podcast with every year.
I just told you I like that.
Hey, this one then.
Fucking put Max Payne in front of me, and I'll play that all day long. Great game.
First 2 Max Payne's overrated. Not that good.
What I'm going to
3 though.
What I'm going to do?
That's Rockstar. So it's
the way I've decided to do this, just looking while you were talking there, is that I'm going to say which one of the 2 won, and then I'm going to give the top 3 because that's the most interesting way to do it for me.
I think the top 3 is going to be none of the things that we've picked.
I think so as well.
So by a margin of 3.3%, I believe.
That's close as well.
Lord.
We Sing wins.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am the herald of light.
However,
it was like neither, the 6th pick.
Neither one even finished second.
Yeah, I knew it.
So, Yiga Clan finished joint 4th.
Okay. Right. Ooh.
Where there was a split. Getting 10% was Yiga Clan, Portals, and Howard.
Okay.
Wow.
So then we've got on 13.3%, We Sing.
Okay.
On 16.7%, Ghost Shark.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, Barry, I would not celebrate too long because on 20%, the Piranha Plant musical.
These people, they hurt me and they helped me with each hand.
I should have dug in on that musical.
But you know what we said? What we said earlier, though, is the earliness of that segment definitely helps it.
Yeah, get your moments in early, people.
It does help.
You know, that's something I need to keep in mind with my game, then.
You need the Yiga Clan.
Yes.
I mean,
you need hair metal and the Yiga Clan.
Okay. What this has proved us is that the people selected a musical and that we ended up with a musical.
I guess, if you want to draw the line that way.
If you want to win it.
But for the official record, Gaming Moment of the Year 2023, We Sing Alan Wake 2.
Yeah.
We do sing. We love to sing.
Okay.
Podcast.
What?